Hello and welcome to the ign-uk podcast. I'm Alex and I'm joined by Chris and Luke.
Hello.
Hello, pod people.
Hello, duck hunters.
Hello, duck hunters. Duck hunt.
I think that's the first time I've ever said duck
Yeah,
hunt.
returned you.
Maybe I'm coming around to the idea.
You're a changed man.
But do you know why? It's because of all the sterling work our duck hunt people do on the Facebook page. That's why.
Yeah.
They do work very hard.
I don't know if you follow it now, don't you?
Yeah.
There's someone on there that just goes in and just says God of War all the time, just randomly.
Really?
And he's been warned by the admins because he's just like God of War.
It's like the Honest Owl. Have you ever seen the Honest Owl?
I have,
Come in
yes.
comments. It just comes in and tweets.
But yeah. Anyway, chaps, how's things? What have you been up to?
Well, it's the first time I've been on since I got back from my jaunt.
Well, another holiday.
Another holiday to South Africa.
So you went for 3 weeks?
3 weeks, yeah.
You hunted rhino?
I hunted rhino, yes. I've come back with a lot of...
You basically did Far Cry in real life, didn't you?
I did, and then I managed to sell all the horns to the Chinese, and it paid for the holiday, so it was good.
There you go.
Good times.
That's pretty much what happened.
What did you really do?
No, I went to the wine country for a bit.
Of course you did.
Of course I did.
And then busman's holiday for you.
And then I was in Cape Town for 10 days, which was great. And then I finished off by doing a safari in Kruger National Park.
Did you play any games while you were away?
No, I actually had about 3.5 weeks off video games.
Wow.
Yeah, which was a bit
You
weird.
didn't play Dragon Age in all that time?
No, Dorian missed me, but I just read books. I like reading.
What are books?
What did you read?
I've discovered this new author. Well, not a new author. He's a very old author. A guy called Brandon Sanderson who writes fantasy novels, and he's very good.
What? Name one of the books.
So there's a trilogy he has that's called it's the Mistborn trilogy. It's weird. He's basically he's a big author, and his view is all of his books feed into this idea that there was once this one world that was shattered into 16 pieces, and so there's this one character that appears in all of them in very minor roles, and down the road he's going to write a story about this guy who kind of travels between all these different universes. But I've made it sound worse than it is, but he's a very good writer.
Okay.
And I'm learning things about writing from him.
Like what?
How not to be crap at writing is the hope.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Top advice.
This is pretty much, the dream. But yeah.
Have you been up to anything, Alex? Because we had a break from our normal podcast last week. So
Yeah,
it's been a fortnight.
Well, I hinted at it in the last podcast on that I've been playing a game that I wasn't allowed to speak about.
Yeah.
But it was Zelda Majora's Mask on the new 3DS. And now, obviously, Zelda Majora's Mask is old, but I only ever played it once, and I kind of seem to remember liking it, but it was just after Ocarina of Time, and that was the game that stole my heart. But now that I've gone back and played it, Majora's Mask is probably my favourite Zelda game now.
Because you wrote a piece on that, right, as well?
I did write a piece on it, and I got lots of people saying,
I agree with you.
How do you do that in comment form?
well, just go and check out the comments.
I agree with you, though. It's my favourite Zelda as well.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
There's a lot of people that kind of
disagree with us.
You know, when people kind of like retweet it or favourite, I kind of think, well, are you agreeing with me there, or are you highlighting the fact you think I'm a dick? I'm not really sure. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people kind of, either sort of said, well, I see where you're coming from, even if I don't agree. And a lot of people just went, no, you're a spastic.
And
Look, I don't read the comments. I just read them.
Did you? How long did you spend playing it?
I finished it.
But how long? Like,
Do you know what? Because I was playing it all over Christmas, and because it was on 3DS, it was quite sporadic. So I don't actually know how much time it took to finish.
Do you know how long I've put into Dragon Age Inquisition?
Well, I haven't finished my story. But
Okay,
thanks.
continue your story.
But I probably got about half the masks.
Okay, so they're not the fierce deity mask.
I didn't get that one, no. But I did get a
that's
lot
a
of the
good
cool
mask.
ones. But that's the thing I love about the game is that I wrote this in my piece. Is that games like Far Cry. It's all about the side missions, and back then it was normally like kind of narrative driven stuff, and that's it. But Majora's Mask has the whole side quest stuff there nailed, because you can go and do it if you want to, and you can collect all 24 masks, or you can do what I do and just get the ones that you really need that make your life a bit easier.
Yeah.
So no, it's brilliant. It's fantastic. And then since then, I've been playing the HD remake of Wind Waker. I borrowed the Office Wii U.
I'd quite like to
And
replay
that's
that.
a pretty game. It's a very pretty game.
I like the photography thing, you know, when you have to...
I've only
Take the
about
photo.
an hour in. I'm only in
Okay.
To the second island, which I can't remember what it's called, where you go and shop for all your little goodies, and you have to
Yeah.
find it. Well, I've got the sailboat. That's it.
I spent hours just taking photographs of everyone because you get those little statues made.
Yeah.
Towards the end. Yeah, so I did that. But no, in answer to the question that you were about to ask, I've spent 70 hours playing Dragon Age Inquisition.
Wow. Have you finished
70
it?
hours. No.
You must be rubbish.
I'm avoiding finishing it because I really don't want it to end.
There are lots of other really good games out there.
This is the thing. This is the first game in a really long time that I felt I just don't want to end. Usually, you know, we have so many games to play.
Yeah.
We immerse ourselves in them for a bit and then have to move on. But this one, I can't put it down.
See, I was like that with Far Cry 4, but then I was like, all right, I'm kind of done now. But then I started playing it for the DLC, and I was like, I wish I could go back. But I've
Yeah.
done it, finished it. What about you, Chris?
I've not really done anything apart from trying to keep up with all the Suicide Squad news that's been happening over the
There
last
has been a
week.
lot.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with all this stuff.
It feels like it's on a mission of Harry Carey at this rate.
Yeah, it's worrying signs.
It is.
It's all very confusing, the information that's kind of being leaked. But it all started with Tom Hardy pulling out of the movie, and they said it was because of scheduling conflicts. But then a couple of days later, the rumours started circulating that it's because he got the script for the first time, or an updated version of the script, and he didn't like what he read.
Right.
He didn't like what he read. Maybe his character had been downgraded, or he just didn't like the script. We're not really sure, but
I to be honest, I thought it was kind of weird that he was in it anyway.
Because he was already Bane,
Yeah.
so it was a bit...
But you want somebody of that caliber in your lineup to kind of, you know, it was a big draw, don't you?
yeah. Well, then they offered it to Jake Gyllenhaal, and we weren't convinced by that. Luke and I, Dan and I. So we did a superhero show dedicated to who we thought should play the role.
Yeah.
We came up with Damian Lewis, Ryan Gosling, Charlie Hunnam, Jason Statham, Joel Edgerton, and a guy called Bobby Cannavale, who I don't think you guys would know, but I'm a fan of his. He's in Boardwalk Empire.
Okay.
Big tough guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then since we ran that show, Jake Gyllenhaal pulled out.
Yep.
So a couple of guys rumoured at the moment are Joel Edgerton, who we suggested.
Yeah.
So someone's been watching our show. And John Bernthal from Walking Dead. You know the guy?
Is he the guy?
His best friend at the beginning.
Yeah,
was his wife,
yeah.
Who's really good, actually.
Yeah.
He's in Wolf of Wall Street as
Shane?
well. Shane.
That's
the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then for the film itself, they're talking about Batman appearing in it now. It's rumoured. So Latino Review said he'll be in it, but only in like camera footage that people are watching at the end of the film. And someone else has said he's in it a bit more, but it's really all about setting up a standalone Batman and Joker film.
Right.
Is there any news on who would play Batman in that?
Well, it would be Ben
Batfleck.
I think so.
You would hope that they would kind of keep that universe like complete.
Yeah.
Well, I would hope anyway. Otherwise,
Yeah.
that would be really confusing to.
Well, I'm
switch
just saying,
around.
because obviously Bale recently said that, you know, he'd be open to coming back, didn't he?
I don't think he said that.
Didn't he?
He said, I think
If
he
Nolan was
had a
on board.
quote saying that he was a bit jealous. There was that quote when Batfleck.
Yeah, I think we're not going to see another Bale Batman.
No.
And actually, we had an email for the superhero show suggesting him for Rick Flag. But I just feel like he seems like the kind of guy that is done with superheroes now.
Yeah.
He's done 3 incredible movies, and he's
he's
just
doing-
moving on to
Quite likes doing different stuff, doesn't
Moses.
yeah. So yeah, it's all over the place really. Not really sure what to expect from this one.
I don't think it's going to end well. Do you know what? The DC lineup just doesn't have the confidence or swagger that Marvel's lineup does.
No, you get a sense that they're flailing around a little bit.
Yeah.
They're just putting a lot of stuff out there to see what sticks.
Yeah.
You know, they're really kind of using the audience a little bit to gauge interest in a lot of, I think, actors and characters and things. And it's Marvel are just doing what they do. They feel like they've got this big plan in place, and they're not really caring that much what the audience thinks. They're just making the best film they can, and each time that's what ends up with pulling audiences.
And of course, like, you know, obviously Ant-Man has gone through a lot of problems, so it's not as if that they've had their, you know, completely clear run. But I don't know, it just feels like it's on all of the films, like there's little, you know, I don't know, signs of weakness. And, you know, as a Batman fan, I do worry about what the end result's going to be like.
Well, I guess we'll find out next year with the first one of them.
Yeah.
I'm interested by Jared Leto though as Joker.
Yeah.
I still think that for me that remains the draw.
Well, I think the thing about Joker as a character is that he can be played in so many different ways. So I don't think there's, you know, everybody said when Heath Ledger was cast, it's like, I don't know how he's going to do it. But he did such a different take, which has inspired many of the comics since.
Yeah.
that, I just think, he'll do something completely different, hopefully, and put his own take on it. So.
Yeah.
And he's a great actor.
And thanks to all this happening, Dan and I, for this week's superhero show, were able to talk about Ross Kemp for 2 minutes.
The dream.
Someone suggested Ross Kemp for Rick Flag.
Wow.
Yeah.
What does Ross Kemp do these days?
He's still doing the documentaries on Sky, the documentaries about gangs and,
Occasionally he goes to war zones,
Well, I've never actually... Are they serious documentaries?
Yeah, they really are. And Dan was literally just showing, he was talking about something on the show, and I think we're going to drop it in. Him in the jungle with these mercenaries, all of them pointing guns at him, and him just grabbing the gun and going, "Don't point that at me. You're not going to shoot me. You're not going to effing shoot me." And it's really terrifying.
Really?
And you can tell he's scared, but he's just
Well,
so
that just
tough.
sounds like an episode of EastEnders. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's real. He really is.
Not that you have gangs of, armed guards.
What episode was that?
Just the way you act.
Yeah.
That's me.
He's holding a bottle of water though while he's doing it, which makes him look a bit less tough.
Right.
But anyway, enough of Ross Kemp.
Amazing.
There's not enough Ross Kemp on the IGN-UK podcast. I wonder if our American listeners know who Ross Kemp is.
Well, we did try to explain who he was on the superhero show.
Yeah.
He was in Extras though, so people might know him from Extras. I think in the
Ricky
States.
Gervais's.
But he'll forever be Grant Mitchell.
He will. I said he's a walking, talking muscle.
Yeah.
Looks a bit like a thumb.
Where would you rank him alongside Vinnie Jones? Harder?
Vinnie Jones is harder.
Okay.
Yeah, Vinnie Jones is officially
Yeah.
I would say Vinnie
a
Jones is
thug.
dirtier.
Dirtier.
In what sense? Sexually?
No.
Again, though, American.
Well, I don't know.
American listeners might not know that before he was an actor, Vinnie Jones was the hardest footballer going. He's genuinely tough. It must have been terrifying playing against him.
Yeah, that picture of him squeezing that bloke's... Whose balls? Was it Gazza's?
It was Gazza's balls.
Yeah, Gazza's balls. Yeah.
And I remember being at a game, a Wimbledon game at Sellers Park, watching Palace play Wimbledon, and he was brilliant because he'd come over. He used to have really long throws, so he'd take all the throws. He'd come over to get the ball, and wherever he went, everyone would boo, and he loved it. He would just come over and he'd boo like
Pants-man villain.
He used to really he'd come over and smile.
Right.
Love him. Anyway,
So we were talking about guns.
Yep.
You like your guns. In Borderlands form, you're a Borderlands fan.
Wow, that's amazing, Luke.
That's a really bad link, isn't it? I remember you were very excited about Borderlands 2. Did you play the pre-sequel?
I didn't know. But that's mainly because at that point, my living room had upgraded to next generation.
Okay, well, now you're in luck.
I know.
Because they have announced the Borderlands Handsome Jack Edition, which basically includes Borderlands 2 and Borderlands the pre-sequel upgraded for next generation.
And all the DLC.
And it comes with a season pass as well, so all of the stuff they haven't yet released for the pre-sequel is coming out. So that costs you 50 quid or $60. But the exciting part is the Claptrap in a Box edition.
Yes.
So
I've seen the video of this.
that is it. It's eye-wateringly £270 or $400.
Is it 270 quid?
270 quid or $400.
Do you want to explain to Chris what the Claptrap edition is?
That's how much it is. There's only going to be 5,000 of them manufactured worldwide.
Right.
But what they come with is, Claptrap. We might even have him on this shelf somewhere. But Claptrap, the little robot, the kind of mascot. Yeah. So it comes with a robot version of him who can say lines from the game, and you get a free iPhone or Android app where you can control him. He can move around, and it will stream a camera. It has a camera that streams live from his eye to your phone, so you can see Wagwan. I think it's quite...
What does that mean?
What's going on.
Okay.
Street talk. Yeah.
Because you're so street.
I am very street.
you're so Kings Road.
So that's what they say down Kings Road. I was actually on Kings Road last night. So no, basically, it costs a lot, but you can understand.
I didn't realise it was that expensive.
Yeah, it also comes with 12 lithographs of the Vault Hunters, which justifies the price. Yes, no,
it
it's very
looks quite
expensive.
small is the only thing. The
robot.
Claptrap itself looked probably about that big.
yeah.
But it kind of stands up. I don't think it is on the gyroscope, but it is. It looks like it's sort
I
of...
was going to say I'm bemused because he is
around.
on one. He does go along on his one wheel.
Yeah.
Which I'm a bit like, well.
So if it was 100 quid, would you buy it?
No.
No.
Well, but people would. But 200 and how much?
270.
270.
That is
Yeah,
crazy money.
Crackers, isn't it?
I mean, I guess the idea bit. I mean, it's
And also 5,000. That's quite a lot.
by limited edition.
I wonder how much it would be to buy the game and then buy a robot of that ilk separately. A robot that does a bit more than just that.
I see that's the thing. I think calling it a robot is pushing it a little bit too far. It's a radio controlled
Camera.
Remote
single
control.
car,
Yeah.
with a camera in its eyeball.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, when I saw it, I thought, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'd like to get one of those in the
I
office.
was going to
see
say,
what it's like.
by these
270 quid.
by the standard of like collector's editions,
Yeah.
that's quite a good one. You know, when you consider sometimes it's pricey, but when you consider sometimes they don't really come with that much, that's quite good.
Yeah, but I wonder if that will actually increase in value. I doubt it will. Because that's the other thing, right? You see a lot of these collector's editions, and again, I've spoken about before, but Call of Duty, like night vision goggles. Really? It sounds like a great idea. Then you get them, you put them on once, and then you go, right,
Yeah.
what am I going to do with these again?
Yeah.
And the radio control car that came with it and the drone is like, it's fun.
Yeah.
I've just blown 150 quid on this and going to use it once.
Yeah.
You'd have to really like Borderlands.
I mean, I guess the idea being that Claptrap is a mainstay, right? So
Yeah.
when
I love Claptrap as a character,
Yeah.
but I don't love him to 270 quid.
I don't know. I mean, he does say lines from the game, so that justifies.
Good,
it.
good.
But will you pick up the normal edition?
I will.
I mean,
So I got about 2/3 of the way through Borderlands 2, so that's an awfully long way to kind of
start again.
When's it coming out?
March the 20-something.
So it depends what else I've got to play around then.
I mean, I don't know if I'm making up the fact that you can import saves, but I feel you can from PS3 to PS4 and Xbox 360.
I don't think you actually know that, but anyway.
I remember writing it. Doesn't mean it's true. Does not mean it's true. But
Do we have to wait for Luke to
no,
do this?
you continue.
Great Scotty, no.
You see, you're just not very good at these, Alex.
Come on, that was good.
These leaks are bad.
That was good.
Okay, I'm only going to mention this in passing because actually some better news broke since I put this lineup together. But Simon Pegg's writing Star Trek 3. That's pretty much the story.
Co-writing.
Co-writing it, which I think is pretty good news, actually.
What's the last good film he wrote?
World's End, I would say. I really like The World's End. I know, yeah.
It's quite a bit of a mixed reception. That
It had its haters.
I didn't like it.
But this is another troubled project. Star Trek 3 was being written and directed by Roberto Orci. He dropped out the directing, and now they're not using his script.
Ooh.
Yep. So he's co-writing this with a guy called Doug Young, who did a TNT series called Dark Blue, which I've never watched.
No.
But I think Pegg's a really smart writer. I didn't love Paul, but
I never saw it.
he's clever. He's smart.
Right.
I love the cause and effect stuff that happens in his scripts, which I think would work really well in a Star Trek movie if it's a time travel one.
Yeah.
So we will see. We know nothing more about that. But
Surely they won't reference the old Star Treks anymore. Surely they're done with, harking back to Spock and everything.
they were talking before about there being a chance of seeing Kirk.
Oh, that'd be great, Shatner. Oh, just going back to what you can transfer your save from
Okay.
PS3 to PS4 or Xbox 360 to Xbox One.
Okay.
Continue, as you were.
Then it's ooh. So I played it. Sorry, Chris.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, no, sorry.
I was done.
See, I
should
played it
know.
on Xbox 360, but I'd be playing this on PS4.
Can't do that.
God damn it!
Yeah, no, can't do that. Can't cross-platform.
Can't cross those streams.
Across those streams.
Bigger news for X-Men Apocalypse. They have cast the younger versions of Storm, Jean Grey and Cyclops.
Ooh.
So this is big casting. The actress playing Storm, Alexandra Shipp. Are you a fan of the Nickelodeon mystery show House of Anubis?
Never heard of it.
Did you watch Aaliyah, the Princess of R&B?
No.
Alvin and Chipmunks 2, the Squeakquel?
I've seen that.
Okay, I think she's in that. I thought you might.
Yeah, like-
what David Cross merrily says he just did for the money.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you walk into your local Tesco's with a probably 3-year-old at the time going, look, pick a DVD. That's it. It was either the
Russian roulette,
Squeakquel
innit?
or Chipwrecked. I can't
Right.
remember which one I've seen.
course.
It's all muchness.
So she's playing Storm. We don't really know much about her. There's an actor called Ty Sheridan playing Cyclops, who I do know about. He's in a film called Joe with Nicolas Cage, and he was in Mud with Matthew McConaughey.
Good film.
And he was actually essentially the lead in both those films against two really big actors, and he was fantastic in both of them.
Okay.
He's quite understated, quite forlorn kind of figure.
Good looking?
Very serious. Yeah, he's good looking. He's good looking. That's him in the middle there. He's only 18.
Well, he looks a little bit like Channing Tatum there.
I was going to say Channing Tatum and Tom Hardy's love child.
But he's very good. He's got.
I do recognise the girl, yes.
Okay. He's got real presence though, so I think that's good casting. And then the last one, playing Jean Grey, is what's her name? Sophie Turner, who's Sansa Stark in Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Yes, good. Now that's a good shout.
Yeah.
That's a very good show. I very much like her as an actress.
What has she done other than Game of Thrones?
It's fun. Well, she's now got quite a lucrative modelling career going on outside of the stuff she was on, something or other. But she's doing quite well with modelling. But just in terms of the most recent series of Game of Thrones, you know, when she did that twist from being the vulnerable girl to kind of being a bit... I think she possibly has the chops to pull that off.
Yeah.
I think she's quite good, personally. And she looks very good as a young Jean Grey. She's got the red hair. That's all you need.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
So yeah, lots of we had about 2,000 comments on that story already, but lots of positive comments. Everyone seems to be liking that casting. So
so that's for
next summer,
Apocalypse.
Yeah, Oscar Isaac is about to go and start shooting it like next week.
Oh, cool.
Or he's talking about they're doing tests on his costume and things. So he's the big bad.
Exciting times. Also this week, Microsoft did a big press event that revealed Windows 10, which is kind of boring. Yeah. So we're not going to talk about that.
Don't.
But they did reveal HoloLens, which I guess is their answer to Morpheus VR headsets, Oculus Rift. But it's a little bit different. It's not virtual reality, it's augmented reality.
Yeah.
You still throw on some glasses, but rather than them blocking your view, you see through and it adds layers to whatever you're looking at. So in the demo that they showed off is that it would project, well, actually it's not projecting, it's on your screen, but the person next to you wouldn't see it. The TV on the wall or a white wall, or if you're walking past the fridge, you've got a virtual to-do list, which seems very excessive.
Yeah.
But the other thing that they showed off was integration with Minecraft. Now, obviously, Microsoft spent a lot of money buying Mojang and Minecraft last year. Mm-hmm. And so it essentially become a 3D kind of virtual Lego set with unlimited possibilities.
So is this the reason they bought Minecraft, do you think, with this in mind as a way to expand it?
Possibly, but I think the thing that's, you're not going to see this for years. Mm-hmm. It was a proof of concept. And and part of it was kind of interesting because... So let's put Minecraft aside for 1 second. The other thing was like, if you and someone else are doing something, they can see what you're doing, even if you're halfway around the world. Yeah. So if you were struggling to, I don't know, make a cup of tea, I could see through your lens and say, well, you need to put the tea bag in first, then 1 sugar. That's how I like it. Yeah. A bit of water and just a touch of milk, not too milky.
What about if you're having sexy time alone?
I could tell you where to put it. Yep.
Just a little bit of sugar.
Just anyway.
No, come on. Dash of milk.
A splash of milk. I like it.
Great.
But yeah, I think the concept is interesting. I didn't see anything in the video that I thought, wow, that's going to blow my socks off.
Yeah.
And it's still going to suffer from you've got to wear stupid headsets.
It's like Google Glass. The idea is fantastic, but I don't want to look like a twat. Really.
Well, not any more than you already do.
I was going to make that joke, and I just let you
yourself up for that.
I just let you knock it out of the park.
It's just always with these things. It's me sitting there thinking, how's this going to improve my life? What will I get out of this? What are the things that I do? I watch films. I watch football. Like I'm interested in how that's going to work for me. If it's going to change those experiences.
See, I don't really think it will change the kind of the passive experience of watching football. But, I don't know if you could perhaps watch it from different positions or...
could they put you in the ground from the living room? Yeah.
Maybe. And then maybe if you're sat... But I don't know how it would work.
Yeah, it's all to do with where cameras are, isn't it?
Yeah, because you're set on wherever those cameras may be, unless... They've got like the Google map style cameras that see 360 and there's 60 in every ground and you can sit there and look around and
one of the things they did
your mate next to you or whatever.
One of the things they did do that was kind of exciting, I thought, not necessarily for us because we're journalists and who cares, but in terms of like game development stuff, they showed in the trailer there's like, a motorbike person who's like, I've had a better idea for the fuel engine, and she yanks it up.
She just made it bigger.
Yeah, she just
that's a really good idea.
I've had an idea, and she's just like, and it's like great. But in terms of, I was thinking in terms of game development or something like that, or in terms of films, like if you're shooting on different sets with different units out, you can see necessarily what's shooting. So in terms of collaborative, creative work like that,
absolutely,
I think it would be. So I think it's a fantastic tool. But in terms of I'm not yet convinced from the entertainment perspective,
Yeah.
like which is kind of the angle we're interested in as punters and journers. I don't really think that's necessarily.
I think the other part is
improving.
how interaction works, because it looked like your finger basically became a pointer, which I think is pretty boring. Like if it's holographic, you want to kind of be able to hold it and move it around and zoom it in. And I
want to go full Minority Report.
But again,
right?
I don't know how that would work unless you have to wear special gloves as well.
Yeah.
You really would look like an absolute penis.
Yeah.
Just me, like miming down the house as my missus is looking at me. Just
Because she can't see what you're seeing either. So.
can you virtually sign these divorce papers? Yes. Oh dear.
Lovely stuff.
And the other thing that I did think about is that Microsoft need to get better at making trailers, because it's that whole thing with like awful music and
it's a
cheesy
bit-
people saying,
yeah.
what if the future felt like
I
this?
hate, I hate the word cheesy, but that's all I can. That's the word to describe what that was.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Gotta
lower
get
the
better.
tone, but Rory told me to bring up porn in this section.
Really?
Well, it would
Didn't I already do that?
Did you?
Well, I said
sexy time.
sexy time.
Oh yes.
Well, that's true. You could, in theory, experience any lady or man you want to,
Yeah.
or any other field of animals,
Yeah.
if that is your biscuit.
Can we move on?
Let's move on.
Soggy biscuit. It's a very good game.
Do you want to tee this up, Chris?
Sure. What TV shows would you like to see return?
Seamless.
This week.
That wasn't so much a teeing up. That was just a full-on drive right in there.
It's a good place to start a video.
Yes.
Shall I do it again?
No, we're good.
So the TCAs, which is the television something or others last week.
Choice? Critics.
Critics Associate, I don't know. Lots of announcements of TV shows and interviews and presentations. And the Fox people talked about the fact that they'd quite like to see X-Files returning.
Yeah.
But only if they could get Chris Carter, David Duchovny, Gillian Anderson on board. And then I believe David Duchovny this week has said, yeah, interested. So they've also
I'd be
talked...
really interested in that.
Yeah, well, they've also talked about bringing back Prison Break and 24, and obviously Twin Peaks is returning after a big gap.
Yep.
So I thought it'd be interesting to talk about what we'd like to see return. So let's start with X-Files then.
Yeah.
Dan and I did do a conversation on it. He's a bigger fan than I am, but we both thought it was actually quite a good idea.
Yeah. So the thing I loved about X-Files was, and it's been a long time since I've gone back and watched them, but it was the individual standalone shows, but there was still that whole theme running all the way through
Yeah.
it. And I love that kind of thing. Like, I can't remember the name of the episode, but there was the kind of little pale guy that could kind of sneak through air vents, and it was really freaky.
Tombs? Was he called Tombs?
Yeah, maybe.
Like that?
I can't remember. But loads of kind of, like, almost believable in it. Like, not too kind of extraterrestrial.
Yeah.
But, scary as hell.
Yeah, really frightening.
I think X Factor's a bit before my time. It was too
It's
scary
not
for me
X
when I
Factor,
was.
it's X-Files.
X Files was a bit before my time.
Bring back X Factor.
It's really worth watching. It's really worth it. It's because it's got that high concept as well that you can go anywhere and do anything with it. Whereas 24 almost becomes a little bit repetitive. They've got to keep coming up with a terrorist threat each season.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're dealing with the stuff that they were dealing with, the supernatural, aliens, just weird stuff happening.
Yeah.
It was kind of like our generation's Twilight Zone.
Right.
It felt like, each week they could explore something
Yeah.
different and strange. And they were two really compelling characters as well.
Well, that's it. Their chemistry worked really, really well.
Yeah.
So, do you know what is weird about? Because that some of them still run on whichever TV channels, whether it's Gold or whatever.
Sure.
Why do old TV shows like that aren't that old look so bad? Like, it's the same with my wife watches Sex and the City, which is not that old.
Well, it's just
it's terrible.
but that's-
Look at the quality.
It's pre-HD.
I know,
And
but
so
still,
some old shows have been turned into HD,
Polaroid cameras,
and those ones haven't. That's what we watched.
But standard definition these days doesn't look that bad.
No, well, quality's just improved. Honestly, we watched. It was. Think back to when you were watching football when you were a kid,
But it
compared to
feels
what you watch
like-
now, and it's the qualities.
It honestly feels like they're basically airing the records that people have done on a VHS and just
Yeah.
they've taken out the adverts halfway through.
Maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe you've answered your own question.
Maybe.
So yeah, I thought maybe just go around the table. A show that you'd like to see return, Luke.
Quite a lot of Joss Whedon stuff tends to get cancelled prematurely.
Yeah.
So one that I really started to get into was Dollhouse, which was had Eliza Dushku, who was Faith in Buffy, and
Yeah.
she was True in True Calling. It had a really slow start. There was way too much exposition. It had a couple of really unlikable characters at the start. But by the time you get to the end of the first season, it starts picking up. But I think it had already lost a lot of people. And anyway, it was cancelled about halfway through the second season.
Right.
So, and they knew it was coming, so they rushed to tie up the loose ends. And it was just so unsatisfactory because there were so many stories and like kind of plot holes that they had set up. And, you know, the thing about Joss Whedon stuff, like with Buffy, you know, it's a slow burning plot. There's so many things that he seeds and then it comes back later. You know, the big enemy in season 7 of Buffy is someone who appears in a throwaway episode of season 3, like, you know, and it's just his thing is that's how he worked, and it was so disappointing when it was cancelled. And another one that I would have liked to see come back is Angel, just because he again had grand ideas for it. I think he wanted to do 7 seasons like he did with Buffy, and the network wouldn't tell him if they were going to renew it, and he was like, well, I want to know now. And so he prematurely asked for a renewal. They wouldn't tell him. He tried to play hardball with them, and they ended up just saying, you know what, screw it, we're cancelling it. And so they cancelled it. And so again, all these kind of big things he'd seeded and these really emotional plot lines just instantly cut off. And it was just a bit, and again, it just it ended really, really disappointingly. So I'd kind of like to see them come back for a sense of closure, more than anything. But no, Buffy I'd leave, because I think Buffy ended well. I think Buffy actually went on too long.
No, okay. My first one, Quantum Leap. I'd like to see come back. I don't know necessarily with the same actors, or they could be in it, but maybe pass the reins on over to someone else.
Yeah.
But I loved Quantum Leap. Did you ever see that one?
A little bit. I've seen a couple of episodes. I would get that confused with Sliders.
See, I've never seen it.
You never seen?
No.
But we're not that
We've
far
had
off
this
in age.
discussion, but yeah,
Have we?
Never. You know, there are big gaps in my
Sure.
film and TV viewing.
Well, each week, this character, Sam, would travel back in time. He just got stuck in some kind of time, bouncing around. And each week, he'd show up in a different time period. And each week, he'd have to do something, but he didn't know what, to get himself out. And it would be to change someone's life or save someone or do something. But he spent the episode trying to figure it out. And so that each week, it would be a different sort of setting. But equally, it would be him trying to figure out how to get back to his own time.
Yep.
That's what he was always trying to do.
Yep.
And it was just really good fun. And the fact that each week you could do, you know, it could be a totally different, it must have been quite an expensive show to make.
Yeah.
Because of all, you know, it's a new set of actors every week. Yeah. A new time period, new costumes and stuff. But it was really good fun. So I'd like to see that one come back.
When did that go off the air?
God, when I was at school, it's probably
time,
about, early 90s.
Okay.
Yeah. I've still got my Quantum Leap annual though.
There you go.
Alex, have you got?
Well, it has to be Harry Hill's TV burp.
Really?
I think that's actually quite
Well,
good.
that's if you're a fan. You genuinely are a fan.
I genuinely am a fan of Harry Hill's TV burp.
Yeah.
I think it's quite funny.
That's a kind of a funny answer, but I would like to see that back because I genuinely look forward to that. The only thing I didn't like was the getting the two things and having them to have a fight.
You didn't like that?
I found that a little bit tedious.
What, you didn't like the fact that it was the same joke every week?
It wasn't the same joke every week. You obviously don't appreciate the small details.
The nuance.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, having them fight every week was the same joke.
No, that was, yes.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
quite a lot of the show was that. Did you see the movie?
No.
But you'd go in like, no. But if you like
But
the
that's-
TV show,
but
why would
TV
you?
burp is different from Harry Hill doing his shtick.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like, because it was like, obviously it would play a clip. And I was always amazed at how much TV the researchers must have had to watch.
Yeah, sure.
To kind of look for a 3-second clip of something funny.
Yeah. But equally, weren't TV shows doing stuff on purpose to get on burp?
Oh, I don't know.
EastEnders, let's have someone fall in a bush.
Cynical.
Let's have someone fall in a bush again. He'll play that.
No, but it was again, that's not the kind of, it wasn't slapstick all the way.
No.
It was funny stuff.
Yeah. No, I've watched it and laughed a couple of times.
Oh, good. Buck Rogers. I'd love to see
in the
Buck
21st
Rogers.
century.
Yeah, but it would have to still kind of have that kind of schlocky shtick of the original. I don't want it brought up to the 21st century and it look amazing and everything. I still want it to be a bit cheesy and have a little robot going biddy biddy biddy. That's what I want.
Do you know who did the voice of that robot?
I don't.
Mel Blanc, who was the voice of Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
I was literally about to say, as Looney Tunes, I wouldn't mind coming back.
Looney Tunes.
I
What
really just
happened
loved
to them? Yeah.
Well, I think they all died. As in no, not as in the animals. What? They're the voice actors and stuff.
Yeah, but like Jim Henson and Frank Oz, they all died.
And the
but they
Looney
still
Tunes
live on.
actors won't have done. The modern Looney Tunes. like Looney Tunes.
No, I
back in
don't
action.
want the films. I kind of want. I want the short cartoons
Yeah.
where it's not too tedious. You know, I loved Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote. They were amazing. Porky Pig was tedious. He can piss off. Daffy Duck is the dream. As quite a cynical person myself, Daffy Duck is my spirit animal. And no, I just I would have loved that.
They were big.
To come
I remember
back.
when Warner Brothers stores were on Regent Street and stuff like that. And then
It's a good question. Where are these?
Yeah, where are the Looney Tunes?
I don't know.
What happened to those guys?
I like Buck Rogers though. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
New cast.
I thought of
Sexy woman. Cool guy. Mark Miller's next film, I just read the comics, Starlight.
Right.
That's a Buck Rogers vibe.
Is it?
Yeah, Flash Gordon
I
vibe.
can't remember the name of the ships that were in it, but they were cool because I had the kind of the metal corgi versions of that. All cool stuff.
I watched the film, the TV movie that they did so many times.
Right.
God, I practically knew that off by heart when I was a kid.
It's great.
Yeah.
Farscape would be one more that I'd like to come back.
Okay, why do you want Farscape?
Do you not
back,
like
Luke?
Farscape?
I never watched it, if I'm honest.
Okay. I just thought it was really, really good. I didn't like the lead actor, but I thought the crew and the idea behind it was really interesting. And it was like, you know, a big universe to explore, really interesting. And it also had Claudia Black in it, who is the voice of Morrigan and lots of other, in Dragon Age, and lots of other voices. She has a very sexy voice. But yeah.
What about comedy shows? Any comedy shows you think you'd like to have?
I'm sad that Peep Show is ending. Man.
The problem is that, you know, I always wanted Red Dwarf to come back, and then it came back and it was absolute stinking.
And it ruined everything.
I thought the last season was okay. The most recent one.
How many have they done? How many have Dave done then?
I think I'm not sure off the top of my head, but I did remember I did interviews about 18 months ago.
Yeah.
With all of them, and that was for series 10 maybe.
Right, because
I thought it was okay.
Because there were 4 episodes that came out, and I watched those, and
they
they
weren't
were
good. No,
absolutely terrible.
Yeah,
And-
agreed.
And so I stopped.
Yeah,
So
League of Gentlemen?
yeah,
Maybe I'd like to see that come back.
League
And
of
there's
Gentlemen's terrific.
there's always mutterings, aren't there?
yeah.
Like,
They met up. They met up the other day. All of them did.
and there's speculation about what that could be.
Yeah,
about.
they said
Yeah.
they were talking about doing something.
I know they're doing another Inside Number 9
Yeah,
series.
they're
aren't
shooting
they?
that right now.
And then Nighty Night as well. Although towards the end of series 2, you really felt it had run out of steam.
Right.
But like the jokes were tired. It just got too unbelievable.
So that's almost a good reason for it not to return, isn't it?
I think it needs to redeem itself. It needs to
Okay.
come back. They've had years off. Also, the smoking room.
Yep.
Do you know the smoking room?
Yeah, I remember it. Yeah.
It was it was classic. This BBC. I mean, I guess there are no more smoking rooms now, so it's a bit unbelievable. But it was
Well, they could have the
staff room.
smoking.
It's just the
car
street.
park.
Yeah, the skiving room. But yeah, no.
The worry with some shows, though, is that they'll come back and not be as good as you remember. Because that's the one I want to do a conversation on this sometime for the site, is Twin Peaks. I love Twin Peaks as much as anyone, but there's no reason for it to come back.
cannot deliver on its promise.
It won't. It's more than even like Star Wars coming back. I think Twin Peaks has got even less chance of satisfying people because it was so of its time. I felt like the story ran its course in a really weird and interesting way. And whatever they do, I don't think I'm going to be happy.
No.
A couple of comedy ones that I thought ended too soon. Garth Marenghi's Dark Place.
Yes, no, that was brilliant.
Only got 6 episodes, I think.
Yeah.
And they could probably do that now with Richard Ayoade doing so well. A lot of the actors, Matt
Berry's doing
the
really
big
well.
star at the moment.
I just started watching IT Crowd, actually.
It's nice.
It's okay.
It's not
Yeah.
laugh out loud, though, is it?
No, it's an easy watch. It was an
Right.
easy watch, but considering he did Father Ted, it's not
Yeah.
Father Ted quality.
Yeah.
I don't think. Nathan Barley's another one. I just adored that show. And I've spoken to people involved in it a couple of times, and they say it's never going to come back. But I can watch it and watch it. It was so ahead of its time. Like right now, it would be on the button, I think, for how people are. But back then, it was just at the start of, phones getting ridiculous and media. I mean, we worked with a bunch of them, didn't we? back in the day?
I was going to say, people who love their Bluetooth headsets.
Yeah.
Oh. Hope
Little
he doesn't
in-joke
watch.
there.
Hope he doesn't watch.
Shooting Stars as well. I'd like to come back. I really like Shooting Stars.
Luke keeps picking programs that I like but don't want to come back.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Again, at the end, I kind of found that it sort of lost its way.
I think a lot of people became too self-aware and a little bit too PR savvy and too up to and tight, and they wouldn't really let themselves make fool of themselves, which was a bit upsetting. That was the problem when it came back. Originally, like almost pre-internet and stuff. I think people were like, this isn't going to go viral. Who cares who sees this? Or it wasn't a big enough thing. They didn't really know what they were getting themselves into.
Yeah.
Whereas now I think there's too much. Morecambe and Wise, I'd like to come back as well, but dead.
Right, I think that might be ending that conversation.
Has seen its natural place.
Really scraping the bottom of the barrel.
But we should ask our readers, which TV shows would you like to see come back? You can get in touch, ign_UK_feedback@ign.com.
Cool. All right, let's
Yes.
do some reader feedback. We've only got 3 pieces, so Luke and then Alex and then myself.
Okay.
Let's do it that way.
So I have it from Robert Walpert, who says, "Hey guys, I have no idea what Duck Hunt refers to, so I won't mention it."
I quite liked that.
But he did.
He did mention it. That's what I thought was funny.
And then he says, I do have to correct part of the favourite holiday films conversation from December. It was young Natalie Wood who starred in Miracle on 34th Street, not Shirley Temple.
Entirely my fault, but it's hard to keep all that information up in your head when you're speaking off the cuff.
It
and I
is.
got one child star mixed up with another one, so
Never ever do that again.
all apologies.
Good Ship Lollipop.
That was a fun show, though. That one where
Yeah.
we were doing our favourite Christmas movies.
That was really good.
I could have done that forever.
it did go around for quite a
Yeah,
long
we
time.
were a long time.
I watched what's the famous Christmas movie?
It's a Wonderful Life.
I watched that for the first
And?
time. It's very good.
It's good, isn't it?
It's really good. Yeah.
Did you cry?
I didn't know.
Oh,
It is
makes me cry.
It is about 2 hours of utter misery and then 10 minutes of like sweet release.
It's just. I
sex.
wish more films are like that because it's all kind of crazy. Like, did he really used to speak like that? Whoever the main guy is.
Yeah, that's how he spoke.
He's a bit of a funny voice.
Yeah,
like that kind of thing.
Stuart spoke.
Right. Okay. But it was kind of like films just don't get made like that anymore.
No,
No.
it's
I'm not
the
sure I
best.
could watch it every year, which a lot of people kind of do.
Yeah, I didn't watch it this year, but I watch it most years.
Right.
Oh, I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, it's very good. My email is from, I think it's from Dave Trevino.
Yeah, but he didn't put a name at the
actually-
bottom
but,
of it. So
but
it's-
I'm reading between the lines on his
Yeah.
email address. So anyway, he says, I've got boys in our house, so Frozen means nothing, you lucky, lucky man. We watched it once and never really thought about it again. I thought, girls seem more obsessive about this kind of stuff. Boys, even if they really like something, seem to move on faster. Well, that never really happened with me in Star Wars.
no.
And I would liken Frozen to my Star Wars love.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there have been many other kind of films of recent years that have had the same impact to the same level that Frozen has.
It is ridiculous. I mean, I didn't realise, because there's still so much hype about it, I didn't realise how long ago it was actually released. It was, about a year and a half.
Well,
almost now.
it's coming back to Berkhamsted Cinema next month.
We had the
I suppose I
filmmaker.
still
We had
haven't-
the filmmakers in the office.
Yonks ago.
But
Yonks.
I know we did speak about this on the podcast. But when I don't think they had any clue that it was going to be the size or scale of what it is now.
They
No.
didn't at all. But it's well done them.
Anyway, Star Wars is a better film. So
I've got an email from friend of the show, Carl Barrett, who says, "Hi guys and Duck Hunt. On the podcast about upcoming releases in 2015, you didn't mention any TV shows. What are the shows you are most looking forward to this year? For me, it's Hannibal Season 3, Fargo Season 2, but the show I'm looking forward to the most is the 9th and final season of Peep Show."
So Hannibal, absolutely.
Yep.
I haven't actually. A trailer went out yesterday. I haven't seen that yet.
Getting better, isn't it, as it goes along?
But yeah, Creeper only kind of got me into that at the tail end of last year. So I binge watched seasons 1 and 2. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, obviously.
Yes. For sure.
Fargo is fantastic as well.
So,
it's really
yeah, I
worth a
haven't
watch.
actually watched it.
It's really worth a watch. It's very.
I've seen the film, I haven't.
It's quite unusual. It's quite a strange watch, but it's very Twin Peaks actually. But some of the acting in it, Billy Bob Thornton, Martin Freeman, it's really really well acted.
Yeah.
Martin Freeman's doing really well for himself all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Was that
Yeah.
sudden?
It was something this week called The Eichmann Show, which I watched on BBC Two. That was really good. If you want to catch it on iPlayer, it's very very upsetting. It's about the trial of the worst Nazi war criminal. Who the guy that came up with the final solution, and they do show you genuine documentary footage of what was going on in the concentration camps. But it's a brilliant piece of television as well. It's very very powerful.
And what's it called?
The Eichmann Show.
I think we were talking about. I just started watching Broadchurch. First season, that really, really good.
Everyone's a bit humming and ahhing about the second one.
Yeah, well, Gav was moaning about it in the office, and I think was Dan agreeing with him. I wasn't. I'm really enjoying the second series.
So I watched the first episode last night.
Yeah.
So that's where I am. But
okay. Yeah, so I'm only 2 ahead. It's just I think it's really good that it's at first you think, well, why would they go back? But actually, there's some really interesting stuff that they're uncovering.
Yeah. Even the first episode, I was like, oh, I didn't expect it to go in that direction.
Because what you would expect is another series, another murder.
Yeah.
But
and I do think, I don't know the name of the lady, but she is excellent.
Olivia
Colman, yeah.
Because she left Peep Show precisely to try and do that. She won a BAFTA, didn't she?
She's won everything going, to be honest.
And she went to university with Mitchell and Webb.
Yeah.
And so she'd always done all that stuff like Mitchell and Webb look and all of that.
Right.
And she made the decision to leave and like branch off to try and pursue more serious roles, and it's clearly worked out for her.
Did you see the National Television Awards?
I didn't know.
So David Tennant got special recognition. And what I thought was really good about it, he didn't know he was getting it. Because you know that it's normally it's like, oh, he was prepared. When they started sort of playing his show reel, he was a bit like, what? Like, why am I getting this? Which was good.
That's really sweet.
The only other down in Mrs. Brown Boys, that won an award.
Best comedy,
People
third
like
year in a
it,
row,
though, I
I
guess.
believe. We've talked about it many times in this podcast. We don't get it. I'm waiting for us to get emails, people who love the show, but we haven't.
I'm wary about.
Well, a
Peep
few
Show,
people
though.
said in the comments. I was reading some comments, and no, it was the Duck Hunters page. Somebody said there that it's his guilty pleasure.
Why are you worried about Peep Show?
I don't know. I feel it kind of went off the boil at the end of the last series. I liked the start, the whole business secrets of the Pharaohs, funny.
Yeah.
But I feel it went a bit off the boil because they have tried to replace Olivia Colman. Shut up, Siri. They've tried to replace Olivia Colman with Dobby, and she just doesn't really. I don't find her particularly funny.
Who's Dobby?
Dobby is the northern.
Izzy Sooty plays her.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the
Yeah,
woman that
the
was on the
house-
Word?
the
or
house
something?
elf.
The house elf,
and I
but-
think it's.
I know, but also, what was the woman that was on the Word? Do you remember that?
Oh God. She wasn't called Dobby, but it was
it's
similar
something
to
like
that.
that. A ridiculous woman.
For me, I think Peep Show's been the most consistent sitcom.
I just don't like it when they
Ever.
make it into a three-hander. Like, why are they both in love with I don't know.
Yeah,
I much prefer it when it's just those two. Or Super Hands is fine, but I don't like...
Hands is awesome.
Some trouble with crack. It's quite Moorish. But I just don't like... I don't like her very much.
And I'll end this by saying the one I'm looking forward to the most is Sherlock.
Is that back this
Will
year?
hopefully be back. They haven't announced the
gotta
screen
be.
date, but it could be a Christmas episode.
Oh, cool.
As well as something in January. So
It's got to be. So I'm trying to find the name of this woman.
it's,
can't find the
it's
word.
only me and you that cares about this.
Oh
Alex,
no,
so
I
we
really
can-
care about it.
I've never seen the word.
Hufty.
Hufty. Oh, enough
There you
said
go.
about Hufty the better.
Yeah.
Good.
Don't say anything horrible.
I never would.
Yeah, you would. So let's move on to what is coming out this week.
Out this week, so Saints Row has been given a fresh lick of paint and dusted up for PS4, Xbox One. Much the same game. It's got all the expansions on it. We gave it a 7.8. Again, Saints Row is one of those series that I played the first one, but I've not actually played any of the more recent games, and they're supposed to be better.
Everyone seems to be saying that 3 was kind of the pinnacle.
Yeah.
And 4 just doesn't quite have that. It's not quite as good. It's not quite as self-referential.
Yeah.
But by all accounts, it is a good game. And
7.8 is a good score.
I think our review said something like, if you've played the original, not worth getting this edition because the expansion, the Gat Out of Hell expansion, isn't really worth it.
Yeah.
But if you haven't, obviously, once again, this is the ideal edition.
Yeah.
So
That's it for games, really.
Okay, films. There's a few films out this week. New Mark Wahlberg film, The Gambler, which is a remake of a 1974 film called The Gambler.
I saw the trailer for that. He never looks like he ever gets old.
No, he's doing all right, isn't he?
He looks like he did in Boogie Nights.
Yeah, and he looks like that in the flesh as well.
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg.
It's an all right thriller. We gave it a 7.0. That's one I'll probably watch on a plane or on the telly.
Yeah.
Um,
Going back TV shows. The second parts of Arrow and Flash. Like, are you up to speed on?
Nope.
So something happens at the mid-season finale of Arrow, and you think, what's going to happen? And I know that the episode has aired already, and I've managed to avoid spoilers, but I'm saving that up for the flight to San Francisco.
Okay. Cool.
Very excited.
We've got a new Oscar Isaac movie called A Most Violent Year, which is very good by all accounts. I haven't seen it. It is a thriller. Mortdecai is out. Potentially Johnny Depp's worst film ever. So bad that they wouldn't let me see it, people. I emailed them and they said they would not be doing an online screening for us.
Really?
People who interviewed him got to see it and it's been getting 2s and 1s. But I was not allowed, so I can't review it.
What's happened to Johnny Depp?
I'm not the right person to ask about this because I'm not a fan.
Right.
So I think from the moment he did the first Pirates, I've not really enjoyed his stuff.
First
Do you like
Pirates was a great
was it
movie.
Transcendence
Yeah.
that you like?
No one liked Transcendence.
Which is the
Not even the people who made it.
No, I don't think so. The director who made it, Wally Pfister.
that is a great name.
I don't think he liked it. No, I just think he used to act and now he gurns.
Yeah.
You know, and this is again, it's him trying to be Terry Thomas, and I'm sorry.
I've seen the ad of him on the side of a bus and with his little twisty moustache.
Yeah,
I was like, that looks terrible.
Yeah.
So, with so many other good films around at the minute as well.
Well, yes, because there is one very good film out this week, Ex Machina. Again, Oscar Isaac. Everyone will know about it by this point who listen to the podcast because we did an hour on it pretty much last week. But it's a really good film. I've seen it twice. I'd even see it a third time. It's just a really well put together sci-fi, and if I could compare it to anything, I'd compare it to Moon. It's very similar. It's a debut.
Wow.
It's a debut movie from the guy. It's self-contained. It's set in a couple of rooms. Moon has 2 actors, although same person.
Yeah.
This is pretty much 3 actors, and it's just really thought-provoking, clever science fiction that kind of stays with you. It's haunting.
There you go.
So yeah, love Ex Machina.
awesome.
I would very much like to see that.
Do it.
Good
I need
stuff.
to see that.
And I think that's it pretty much for this week's podcast.
Believe so.
As always, you can get in touch, ign-uk-feedback at ign.com. We keep saying we're going to change that.
Yeah, we should.
Well, it's also IGN_UK feedback
Oh, thank you, Luke.
at IGN.com.
What did I say?
IGN UK feedback.
Do you want to say it one more time?
IGN_UK feedback at IGN.com.
Okay.
That's it. That's how you get in touch. We will be back same time next week. So then, until then, bye-bye.
Cheerio.
Bye.